superintendent gave us a list of 13 comparable school districts. And we've gotten a glimpse now over the weekend and how some of those handle their finances. And what you can tell, though, from those other 13 comparable school districts is that we're just really lucky that Bibb County and Richmond County exist. Otherwise, we would be the, I don't know any other nice way to put it, the armpit of education in second-tier city Georgia's, in second-tier Georgia cities. Macon has 10 perpetually failing schools. They were on the superintendent's list. Augusta has 15, Richmond County. Clayton, I think, had 3. Nobody else had one. They're all operating under similar, actually worse budget conditions than we are, because we have the 3rd highest millage rate in the state of Georgia. Yet 9 of those 13 schools systems have 0 perpetually failing schools, yet we have 10. So money's not the issue on this. John's figured it out, and I don't speak for John, but he told me this afternoon he figures it's a couple of $100,000 if we go with Mark's plan. At some point, we have got to put academic achievement so we can compete with these other school systems above a couple of $100,000. The people just gave us $192 million. Can we not shift gears to academic achievement for just a short time? Just a short time. And give the taxpayers a $200,000 break. That is all Mark Cantrell is asking for, and I support Mr. Cantrell in his effort.
Yes, sir.
It is just wrong to tie this 2.7 compensation package to the threat of rolling this back to the rollback rate. And that was one of the arguments that was used in the campaign for the SPLOST. If we don't get the SPLOST, we won't be able to do anything about the compensation package. Now the SPLOST is passed, and now you're saying that, well, we might not be able to do the compensation package if we don't hold the millage rate at 23.37. That's just not right.
I didn't say that. What I indicated, and no one's asking me that, what I'm saying is that there'll be an impact to the budget and expenditures. Where that'll come from, be decisions staff will have to bring back, whether that comes from salary adjustments or whatever. There'll be something we'll have to make decisions on, obviously, to reduce that.
I think it was Ms. Hughes Green that specifically said the compensation package would be impacted if we don't uphold the 23.37 millage rate. That's one.
So you're saying we have $65 million in the bank, correct? 65 million.
We're saying the actual fund balance.
The fund balance is $65 million. Now, over the last 18 years, we have gone way below 47 days in our fund balance. And well, I understand when the former school board members, we've been at 30 days before in our fund balance. But we're talking about less than $200,000 given back to the citizens of Columbus, Georgia, with $65 million. You know, it seems like a lot right there to say that we can't give it back a little bit for our voters this year, and just want to leave it at that.
Just move.
Okay, I've got a couple of points I'd like to make.
Yes, sir.
To begin with, our millage rate is 23.37. The state of Georgia Constitution limits the school district from anything above 20 mills, unless they have an exemption or exception of some sort. We have that, as I understand it, because we operate the museum and the libraries, correct?
Correct.
So follow that 3.37 of the mills collected go exclusively to those operations, but I don't think that's the case, is it?
No.
No, it's not. So we have an advantage over so many other school districts in this state because we have the exception to collect higher than what the Constitution allows. And yet, we also take advantage of that by spending more on the schools than other districts are allowed to do.
first thing I want to talk about a lot about this, but I want to talk about the process and what has gone on in the last 96 hours, because it is truly shocking. We were called as board members to come to this room 96 hours ago, give or take a few hours. And we were handed this notebook right here that says it's a recommended budget from Dr. Lewis, FY 2016. And I opened it up, and I was reminded of that old Wendy's commercial with Clara Peller, "Where's the beef?" And I do wonder, that's one of the questions I'm gonna have is where's the beef? But I wanna talk about the process more than anything. John Thomas asked for the beef. He is an IRS agent, he's an accountant, he's a numbers professional. And he was assured that he would be given the beef this weekend, and he was given some meat. He can talk about that. Because as board members, we have a duty to know what we are voting on. And this document does not give us that information. Whatever this is, I'm calling it a document. You know, again, it's one of these meetings where we don't have the in-house television. Nobody's ever gonna see this at home. The most important thing we do as board members is to adopt a budget. And it's almost like it's almost like there's a sinister scheme to keep the cameras out when you're doing the dirty business. And the dirty business is a 96-hour turnaround on $250 million budget. That is absurd. Anyway, you go back to the budget, to this document, whatever it is, and the only thing that even looks close to a budget is on page 12, and it's one page, and it's got, I think it's 11 categories, and a punchline at the very bottom of $262 million. There is no specificity whatsoever. The categories are there. Anybody who wants to see it, I'll be glad to share it with you. But there's nothing there. So John Thomas asked for more information. He can talk about what he got in a minute. And in the meantime, on Friday afternoon, I think I remember it's 4:21 p.m., we get one of these notices as a board member that says, "Oh, by the way, we're going to vote on that budget Monday night, June the 1st. Now, it was already scheduled for June the 8th, which to me is a little quick, given the lack of specificity. But all of a sudden, it's going to be June the 1st, Monday night, 96 hours from the time we get this whatever this is. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. That's right, my math's good. Times 4. 24 times 4 is 96. I'm just dumbfounded to think that we are supposed to make an intelligent decision as board members on the financial future of our school district under this horrible plan. And I'm not even talking about the budget, because I don't know what's in the budget, folks. That's the problem. Now, last Thursday night, the superintendent gave us the 13 similar regions to our, similar school districts to ours. So I started looking over the weekend. You know, I wonder what those school districts vote on compared to what we do. Karen, would you do me a favor and put it up on the screen what I'm about to have on the laptop here? Folks, this is a tentative budget, 2015, for Douglas County, Georgia. One of the school districts. 2016. I'm sorry, 2015, 2016, tentative budget. One of the school districts that Dr. Lewis has says is comparative to ours. Ladies and gentlemen, while she pulls that up, I know you will. But I do want, but you gotta see it to understand the stark contrast between a one-page summary budget that we were given. Good picture of John. And what they're doing in a district, again, Douglas County, that has no perpetually failing schools. I'm here to tell you tonight, I think there's a direct correlation between the way we're handling our financial affairs and the way we are failing our kids in these schools. You're going to my laptop.
I can't, it's not gonna play from yours.
Somebody over there can they?
It only plays from this one. Where are you? It does.
No, I could play from this one, I'll just give it to you, and I'll let you.
It's not on their website, okay.
No, it's on the jump drive.
Before, while you're doing that,
No, hold on, I don't mean to interrupt you, but I want to make my point, I don't want to get off point, nothing.
oh, I'm just said, I thought you paused me for a minute.
No, I'm just waiting on this information, because I want to finish.
I'm not going to interrupt your point, I just want to make sure you knew that this is the first day of 2 more weeks for budget. You said we didn't have.
Naomi, we ought not to give a rubber stamp to anything related to what we have been given
I
in
just
school.
want to correct that. You said this, we have to vote tonight.
We were asked, are we being asked to vote on this tonight?
Mr. Myers has the floor, Ms. Buckner,
We
please.
discuss one more time and then we discuss another time, so.
Okay. If you go back to,
Is it in these?
I'm sorry, to open the folder. And then tentative. Yeah, but it says, I'm just reading from the budget right here.
Tentative.
I get tentative, but adopt means to vote on. That is, I don't mean to talk down to you, but adopt means to vote on.
A tentative budget.
That's right. And a tentative budget, in the eyes of this administration, is one page of sketchy information, and that is unacceptable, Naomi.
Tentative means tentative.
Tentative means they're,
Tentative.
okay. Now are you finished?
It doesn't mean it's a tentative budget.
Okay, now, can I have the floor back?
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, you look at the top of that. And I'm not gonna go through 357 pages, but as you can see, in Douglas County, on a tentative budget, they have 357 pages of detail for their school board to try to make an intelligent decision about the fiscal policy of their district. And we get one page. And that is wrong. The lack of detail, I'm afraid, is intentional. And that is wrong. People in District 8 voted me into this office under the guise that I was going to bring accountability. I can't do that by myself. I can't do it with the one other vote I can count on who ran with an eye on finances. Hell, eye on finances, we don't even know what the finances are. Ladies and gentlemen, I sit here tonight as a member of the Muscogee County School Board, and I can tell you more about what is going on in Douglas County, Georgia, than I can here. And that is ridiculous. This process needs to be changed. We've got to change our priorities.
Yeah, we did, Kia and I both requested more detailed information. I said I want to see as much detail as possible so that I can make some intelligent decision about this budget. Basically I want to see a line item budget, which is what you have here from Douglas County. But what we were given was just raw input data, and I guarantee you that it skipped a huge step from what we were given to what you see on page 12 of the notebook. There's a lot of detail that we do not get to see. I'm not going to vote to approve this unless I get to see that detail. It's ridiculous to ask us to approve this budget because there are millions of dollars that we have no idea. For example, if I wanted to pick some line item like what do we have budgeted for air conditioners on buses, I can't find it on page 12. It's not in there. I could find it in a line item budget. I could find it in Douglas County. But what we were given, and I guarantee you that the final worksheets that were used to come up with what we were presented with on this page 12 was not what Kia and I were given over the weekend to review to determine whether or not we could make a decision on this budget. gonna be incomprehensible. You're not gonna make any sense out of it. I don't care if you wait until the end of July to look at it. And you can look at it at the end of July, is what I mean to say. You're not gonna be able to make any sense out of it. The only way you're gonna be able to understand the tentative budget is if we get a document in our hands that's similar to this, a line item budget. And I guarantee you that exists. You wouldn't be able to put together this summary without having something like that already.
Do we have a line item budget in
We do, based upon the conversations I had with you last week, you wanted by account number. So when you look at that, that's basically how it goes into our financial accounting system. If you're not familiar with the, actual accounting structure, it would be kind of difficult. But we
Yeah, no,
apply-
I'm not familiar with the actual accounting structure of the program that you use here at the school district. What I asked for was as much detail as I could get.
That's it.
And what I got was basically raw data, raw input. And I got a lot of it, hundreds of pages. It makes absolutely no sense. You can kind of guess by some of the letters which school some number applies to. But what I'm saying is that the process, I can tell, the process has gone far long enough to be able to produce this document on page 12, the summary. I want to see the detail that's behind that summary, immediately behind that summary, not the initial data input.
I'm not gonna sit here and listen to all this stuff about, well, we're gonna give you all the information you want. You know, Pat keeps bringing up this retreat that they wouldn't tell us what it was about. It was the middle of the SPLOST campaign, and I cut out after an hour. So what happened, I'm sorry, somebody say something? No. And so I didn't get all this extra training that makes you such a good board member, so you understand these things as well as some of these others. But while I was there that day, I asked for one simple document. And Ms. Hoover Green made sure I knew that I already had that document in my materials. I said, well, I don't know what it is because I hadn't been a board member very long. But I asked specifically for that document. There's one document, one page. I don't have it in front of me. I wish I did. I may have it in here somewhere, but it was really one page. All I wanted to know was what is the bottom line amount of money that this school system operates on every year? It's kind of a basic question, because I kept hearing all these things, what I thought were tall tales about all these budget cuts. It just didn't make sense. What they were saying just didn't make sense. So I asked, and I was assured that day I'd be getting that document. It took 6 more requests and 41 days before I got that document. So when I hear people up here talk about, well, we just can't wait to give you the document and give you all the information you need as a board, that is baloney. And I'm not going to sit up here and listen to it. You know, it's time to give John Thomas the information he wants so we can all understand what the heck is going on. You know, when we don't have the information as your board members, guess what? The people we represent, they might as well live in China because they're not being represented. Here's the point though, Mr. Chairman. If we don't get more information, and we don't get more information that looks like Douglas County, we're just wasting our time. We're wasting 2 weeks. You know, and I really would rather y'all just vote this down right now. If y'all are gonna ramrod this thing through, go for it. Don't waste our time. But I'll tell you something, as long as I sit on this board, I'm gonna fight for information. If I have to go to a Superior Court judge to get the information I need, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna get the information. That's just gonna happen. You can write that down. And I'm tired of being ignored. And I'm tired when you have a financial expert, John Thomas, when he asks for specific information, line items, to get a bunch of gobbledygook that you can't even understand. It takes some kind of abacus to figure out what they were, you know, this lack of detail. You can't figure this stuff out. Friends, I have given you a perfect example of what you need to do to make the citizens understand, help the citizens understand where their money's going. It's Douglas County, Georgia. And by the way, it was like, I'm not even good on Google. That's about the 3rd one I stopped at. And it popped right up. And I couldn't believe it. I said, look at all this detail. Sent it to John Thomas. I said, is this what I think it is? He said, yes, 357 pages of detail. The citizens deserve that. No more one-pagers.
Before we go to a vote on that, can I just say, state law dictates that the Board of Education sets policy. When we approve the budget, we're setting that policy. I don't know what I'm voting for without having seen this line item detail that I asked for last week. I'm calling on the other members of this board to shoulder your burden of responsibility, be informed on what it is you're voting on before you just blindly rubber stamp what you see on page 12. That's what I'm asking you to do.
I'll probably anger the world when I say this, but this is a bit perfunctory. This action we're taking tonight simply because it's required.
So can you clarify for me, exactly what we're voting on? We're not voting on the budget. We're voting on then just a tentative summary, which is the, sort of the skeleton of what we received last week.
Yes, sir.
You know, I hate to play lawyer here, but I want somebody at this table to tell me. Well, let me start again. I think everybody recognizes that a budget is a document. Does anybody at this table disagree with that? Okay. Hearing no objection. Where's the document that you're asking us to tentatively approve? I showed you one in Douglas County, but I want to know the specific document that you are asking me to vote on, because without that, all this is moot anyway. So, will somebody up here please show me the document that we're being asked to approve?
The actual document is the document that we presented to you is at the legal level, by function, shows the revenues and expenditures. So we're adopting this document here.
Could we get, I don't want to call it the bailiff, but can we get her to walk this up here, or somebody, so I can see what you're holding? Because I don't think I've seen that document.
What we handed out, you have it, it's the document, that document.
Oh, tonight? So this is the document y'all handed out tonight?
No.
She just said it was.
No, that's not the military. Oh, this right here? This is military stuff.
Okay, so,
It's in this book.
That was in the notebook you distributed last week, correct?
Yes, sir. That's just a one-page document.
say that again, that was what?
It's in your notebook.
I think it's in the one-page document.
If you would give me the page number, I'd very much appreciate it, because I'd like to see it. You're saying it was in this document that we were given last Thursday?
Well, actually, that's the summary that we provided. We're passing out.
Okay, I was just told that this was in this document, this packet. I
What
was.
you just received is a summary of the document you received last Thursday.
Right. If you go back to your
Whoa,
last
whoa,
page.
hold on. Everybody's doing the plan. The document I just received, you're saying the document they're passing down? Mr.
Right, if you
Superintendent?
go to page 37 in the budget document,
Okay,
what you're approving tonight is basically by function, so that's the same information there.
okay, so if I take that, so, Mr. Chairman, is this, then page 37, is that the document that we're supposed to be voting on tonight?
It's a document I just passed out.
So
Right.
No, it's not this document you just passed out. I'm looking at the document you passed out. That's different than 37.
Now, what I'm saying is that you're voting on the document that I passed out. 37 is just really a year-on-year comparison.
Okay, so, I still haven't seen it. So you got an extra copy?
No, that's not it right there. I think this is
Okay,
Look,
so,
this is the same as this column.
okay. I'm like you, doesn't make sense. 261. Here's the point. Let's just say, okay, nobody's giving me an answer up here, but let's just say this is the document that just got passed out, is the document we're supposed to vote on. What a slap in the face to a board member to come into a meeting over the budget, the biggest thing you vote on all year, and you have to ask for the document that you're voting on. That is outrageous. So I'm going to specifically move to table this matter until the regularly scheduled meeting on June the 15th.
Second.
And I don't want to spend 15 minutes debating this. I've read Robert's Rules of Order, and motion to table takes precedence over everything else that happens. We are entitled to debate. You can vote this down. You can ramrod this through. But right now, this motion is on the floor, and this motion should be discussed right now. And that would be under Robert's Rules of Order and under Georgia law. And that's what I'm asking to have happen. If you want to vote this down, and you want to go to the voters and say, yeah, business as usual, folks, don't have a clue where your money's going, that's up to you. But I'm not going to take this line down.